This one right here is the Godox Sl60W. Let's jump into it. It is flooded with lots of incredible manufacturers that make great lights. Talk about the APUTURE, the Titan, the RE, and some of these lights can be really expensive. That's why we choose the cheaper options. Now this is the Godox Sl60W. Wow, and they have two. They actually have the Sl60W and then they have the Sl60Y. Now the W means white, and then the Y means yellow. This light is meant to be daylight balanced, balanced at around 5600 Kelvin. I'll take it as gospel truth because I don't have a light meter with me, but lots of YouTubers have gone ahead and dived into the color science of these lights. So I'll leave the technical aspect to them. What I'm going to be talking about is, who is this light for? Do you want to start a career and you're looking at cheaper options to start your YouTube, maybe content creation? It's really incredible for photography because I have used it myself. I'm going to go ahead and take this light off the stand. I'll dive into it a little bit. I'll try out different modifiers to see how this light works. So let's jump into taking it off the stand. Now, I've gone ahead and taken this light off its stand, and this is how it exactly comes in its box. It comes with a standard reflector with a cap on, and then this is the light. Disclaimer, now this light comes with a fan, which means that it makes a bit of noise. Now, as for me, my studio is not really treated, and I don't really care about the tiny bit of sound that is coming from this light. If this light is mounted 1 meter away from me, I don't think that my lovely ears are going to pick up a lot of noise coming from this light. So I'm not in a big worry. Maybe if I treat my studio and I'm looking for really crisp sound, that's when I'll start to get worried about the noise that the fan makes. But for now, this light comes with a remote, which means you can control the intensity of your light. You can also turn it off and on using the remote, which is an added bonus. I love my big panel light, but every time I have to change the intensity of the light, I have to stand up, go change the intensity, maybe change the color, which is quite a pain. But with this small one, I quite like the remote. I'm gonna go ahead and turn my key light off, and I'll put this on a stand, and then we'll go into some practicals. I'll try it with my NANLITE, the lantern. I'll also try it with the light dome on. I'll try it with diffusers, and I also try it with a standard reflector that comes with it. Let's see what output comes out of this light and see if it's really good for a YouTuber. Now, this is it at 10%. I can only control it up to 10% using my remote. I can't go lower than 10%. But even at 10%, it is quite strong because it's coming from a single source. It's quite intense. The intensity of the light coming out, it's quite blinding to your eye. I'll go ahead and turn my practical off so you can clearly see. It's quite a bit dark, but I'll go ahead and pump it to up to 30%. Now this is 30%. We're starting to get some light coming in. I'll go ahead and now if I long press, it just continues. And then this is 50%. 50% is quite a lot. And you can see how hard it is with all the shadows in the background. Even when I come here, you can see that the shadows are quite still crisp and still hard. Now I'll take it up a notch until 70%. Oh, I love using the remote. until 70%. 70%, that's a lot. And then I'll pump it up to 90%. Wow, I can't look because it's quite intense. Up to 100. Yeah, so this is the full mighty of the SL60W on me. It's quite intense, it's quite a lot. And it can also be a bit warm. So yeah, it's incredible. I think with this light, what you can do, if you have a room like this, you can go ahead and maybe use some diffusers, use some bouncings and things like that to trim the light, to make very fun, interesting things with the light. So I'm going to go ahead and then I'm going to put the light dome on. No, before I put the light dome on, let me start with this. Let's see how the standard reflector works on this one. Wow, that's quite intense. Now, I don't know if I can continue filming this with my hand up. So what the standard reflector does, because it's a very reflective, because it's a very reflective surface inside, it actually increases on the intensity of the light that is coming in, because it goes in and bounces, and then it just comes in with quite an intense. Because now this is quite small, but what's actually doing is it's creating a round circle. So I'm going to go ahead and set this lantern up, and then I'll chuck it onto the light, and then let's see how it wraps the light around, if it's good, and then we can compare how the light looks between the lantern and between the dome. So let me do this. All done. Now I'll just put this on. So now this is the light with the lantern on. So the lantern is this giant round thing that is diffusing the light, and this light is at 83. Now let me pump it up to 100 and let me see if it does any difference. Now that's 100. Take it down to 80, and then I'll take it down to 50, and then I'll take it down to 30. So 30, 60, 80, and 100. I think you can see the difference. Ooh, all right, this is quite interesting. Okay, I'm just gonna grab the remote, and then I'm probably going to put this down a bit. It's quite too much light coming out of this thing. All right, so this is quite interesting. It's giving me this sort of spotlight thing around me, which means that actually what the light dome is doing, it's increasing the intensity of the light. Now, what we had previously was the lantern, which was all a diffusion. So without diffusion on here, it's giving me this nice round spotlight feel. Feels like I'm in the center of everything, which I am. So it's very interesting. It's quite big. The light dome is quite big, and my studio, it's quite thin. It is long, but it's quite thin. Yeah, so this is very interesting, and I'll see when I put the because the light dome comes with this. So if I just put this in, let me see how this looks. Oh, okay. Now with that small diffusion, this is how much it cuts it off. So this is not too bad. I'll go ahead and increase this from 60 to about, this is about 80. So sorry, you can't really see me. I don't know where to go exactly. But if I come here, yeah. So this is it with the light dome on, and it's quite interesting. It's quite enough light for one small tiny light. So I think if this was your only light, what I would suggest is have something like this, something as big as this, which internally reflects a lot of light back to you, and then you can cut it off by maybe diffusing, and then you can go ahead and play maybe with some V-flats, and then you can get some interesting kind of nice looking light. Oof, this is quite good. All right, I think this, I mean, if I put the grid on, which I had before, so I've gone ahead and put this grid on, and I'll just pump it up to 100. So this is 100. So it just gives it this boxy patterns. I don't know if you can see it, but when it's much closer, it definitely gets those boxy patterns. And what the grid does, it just brings it all together into one spot. Now you can see that it's not just flying everywhere, it's concentrated in the middle, just around up here, which is very, very interesting. I just remember I have one very, very tiny box. I'll just get that quickly and try that out too. I'm going ahead and put the small softbox on. So it's like the baby big light dome, the aperture one. Now this is like the baby, like the baby one. So, and the baby one is quite interesting. It's giving sort of the same look as the big one, as the light dome. But what it actually does is, because it's much wider and much shorter, it's making its spot-like shape, the round shape, quite very, very huge and very, very large. So you wouldn't get the extreme spotlight feel from this. But what it does is it's quite helping it to output much more light in a controlled way. So I think I fancy the look of this one too. It's quite good. Having a light with Bowen's system, it's quite good, because literally everyone that is making lights with Bowen systems and with LEDs. So it's quite interesting. So you can use it on a wide range of boxes and stuff. So yeah, it's quite good, quite impressive. Yes, so I'm back to my original setup where I'm being lit by the Nova, which is my key light, and then I have the Godox back up there, and it's in the light dome, and the light dome has the small thing, the diffuser, which is right at the end, and then I have the grid on so that I can have enough light to highlight my body. So what I'm using this light is for, so you can see when it's off that it's quite flat, it's quite a flat image, just being lit by the Nova, which is the key, and then there is no highlights, there is nothing. But once I put this on, it just brings up a bit of highlights to the body and just tones the body a bit more. And the question is, can I only use this light as my only main source of light? I've done it before. I think yes, it's incredible. It's a good way to start, because remember, if you're just starting out as a filmmaker and you're looking for cheaper options but really, really, really good light, I think this is a perfect way to start. It doesn't cost a lot. I think it costs between $150 to $200 just getting the entire setup and just getting ready to go. I think between $150 to $200, and then you have this. So I think it is for startup filmmakers, if you want to go into content creation, if you want a continuous light for photography, because I've used it for photos and it's amazing, it's perfect. I mean, there is a lot of work that you have to do, it being your only light, so you need lots of bouncing material and probably lots of flags to make sure that you're bouncing more light or subtract a lot of light in. So I think once you start getting the hang of it, and then you start deciding, where do I want my light, which look am I going for? Because I mean, you can only be limited by how much you play with this light. So I think it's a really, really good light overall to to begin your career as a filmmaker or to begin your career as a content creator. So without breaking the bank, this is a good light. It's incredible. I've used it before. I think I'm going to use it a lot. I'm thinking of getting more than one, I think, and just having the way the setup is, having this here and probably maybe replacing the Nova, which is not meant to do YouTube. It's more for commercial and rental purposes, and then having let's say another light as my key, and then just playing around with lots of different lights, but definitely having the Godox on board. It's incredible. I like it. Thank you so much for watching this video. I had a lot of fun just disassembling and assembling lots of crap in here, so it was incredible. So if you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, or if you know someone that would like it, go ahead and share it with him. If you want to know more about the Godox before you buy it, go ahead and leave it in the comments below. Let me know what you want me to do with this light, or if you want to grab it, go ahead and text me in my social media handles, or on Instagram or on Facebook. I'll just leave them in the comment section below. If you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to smash the subscribe button. Peace out. I'll see you soon. Bye.